Hey folks, today I am testing two underwater dive spotlights I found on Amazon. The Wurkkos DL10R and the Wurkkos DL30. Let's see how they compare. Welcome to another Water Trek 360. Today we're going to look at two budget underwater spotlights that I bought on Amazon. The Wurkkos DL30 and DL10R. Do check out my previous videos on other underwater spotlights. I will provide links for them in the description. As always, I do not represent any of the companies I review, nor any other manufacturer I may reference. These opinions are my own. I do this so that you can make an informed choice before you buy. If you like these reviews, click like, click subscribe. Let's now compare the capabilities of these budget spotlights. They're both made out of high-grade aluminum alloy. Both have a water rating of IPX8 and depth rated to 100 meters. Ignore the slide for the DL10R, showing a depth of 941 feet. That is clearly in error and should be removed from their site. First thing you notice is the size. The DL30 is about 4 5/8 inches long, and the DL10R 5 1/2 inches. They are both 1 5/8 inches wide at the light. With batteries, the DL30 weighs in at 6.4 ounces and the DL10R at 7.8 ounces. They are both drop tested to 1 meter. They have double O-ring protection on the body cavity with 2 access threads. Make sure you remove the little pin insulation tab before first use. The DL10R thread for the Type-C opening at the end may be a bit hard to get off initially. Use a wrench or something to get it off the first time. They both come with one 21700 5000 mAh battery. Literature shows the DL30 can also take an 18650 battery, but that's not provided. But why would you use it anyway? Both are unprotected batteries. Both have a rotary magnetic control ring. You rotate to the right to scroll through low, medium, and high with a corresponding lumen of 300, 1300, and 3600 for the DL30 and 600, 1800, and 4500 for the DL10R. Neither have a flashing strobe or SOS. The DL30 claims a neutral Kelvin of 5000 and a CRI of 90. The DL10R doesn't list a Kelvin or CRI, but in my tests, it was similar, just slightly warmer. Not that you would use either one of these for video. Both can be used on land, although they get pretty hot on high. Both indicate reverse polarity protection for the battery. They have ATR, or Advanced Temperature Regulation. This reduces brightness when over 131 degrees Fahrenheit, and they have low voltage warning, which means a quick flash when it gets too low on voltage. The DL10R also has a low voltage step down and then final shutoff to further protect the battery. The DL30 has a 25-degree beam angle with an overall spread of 71 degrees. And the DL10R has a 19-degree beam angle with an overall spread of around 78 degrees. Neither has a remaining battery power indicator. As for accessories, they both come in a box with a lanyard, spare O-rings, a manual, Type-C cable. The DL30 also added a charger and a cylinder plug. In my control tests, on my quick charger, fully depleted batteries averaged about 3 hours and 15 minutes for the DL30 and 2 hours and 48 minutes for the DL10R. Again, with fully depleted batteries, the DL30 using the supplied charger took around 5 hours and 18 minutes on average, while the DL10R with the Type-C cable averaged 3 hours and 30 minutes. Both show red while charging and then green when fully charged. In my sync tests, Literature claims the DL30 can last around an hour and 28 minutes on high, 2 hours and 9 minutes on medium, and almost 6 hours on low. The DL10R around an hour and 28 minutes on high, an hour and 44 minutes on medium, and then 4 hours and 19 minutes on low. On high, the DL10R did a quick flash around an hour and 22 minutes, started to dim, and then shut off at 1 hour and 40 minutes. The DL30 did a quick flash around an hour and 25 minutes, gradually dimmed, but stayed on for 4 hours and 13 minutes. Now don't do this with your lights, especially with unprotected batteries, but I turned them both back on. The DL10R ran for another 4 minutes and the DL30 ran for another 13 minutes before shutting off completely. Don't do it, hurts the batteries. I ran the DL30 using an 18650 battery. On high, it lasted just an hour and 52 minutes. Topside, they worked as anticipated. Although quite bright, I was surprised by the lack of definition of the 19 and 25 degree beam angle. They did get pretty hot after about 8 to 10 minutes or so, so I would use them on low setting out of the water. In the pool, the spot beams were better defined. The DL10R was slightly tighter and cleaner, and the lumen difference between the 3600 and 4500 was noticeable, as was the slightly warmer Kelvin. In my open water tests, the results were consistent. Here, all the DL30 video is on the left and the DL10R video is on the right. Both beams for me seemed cleaner than in the pool at each of the lumen settings, probably due to my proximity to the rock formations and the holes that I was testing in. The DL10R with the slightly tighter beam and the extra lumen fared a little better. As I've mentioned in previous videos, Long Island Sound is a tough place for lights due to the low visibility, which is why I prefer a narrower beam under 10 degrees if possible. That said, even with all the backscatter, the lights did pretty well. Now, I know I said I wouldn't use these for video, but I did use the DL10R on a subsequent drift dive to capture this video of a feather blenny, and it did pretty well in a pinch. Cute little fish, huh? Hellboy. What didn't I like? Remember, these are my personal preferences. You may have different opinions. Since I normally wear mine on a helmet, rotary switches are cumbersome when mounted. They also both go from low to high. Just start me at high. I will dial it down if I want. Charging time to runtime ratios. They were so-so, hence why I use my own quick charger. Also, I generally don't like dual openings like this. It's simply just another point of failure. Make sure you tighten both threads before use. While this is not a dislike per se, it is a magnetic switch. Make sure when traveling or storing not to have any kind of magnet near it, or it could go on. And since these lights get pretty hot, that's not good. Anyway, when traveling, always remove the batteries or insert the insulation tab before you do. So what did I like? Even though they're both compact, they have a solid feel. I like the extra battery protections on the DL10R and that it did a better video than I had anticipated. The two primary factors, though, are they are both cheap. I paid $40 for the DL30 and $50 for the DL10R, a consideration if you are on a tight budget. And with the extra lumen, 3600 and 4500, they outclass most other compacts that have similar run times on high, yet they cost 1/3 the price. Bottom line, while your needs and body preferences may be different than mine, for the price, they get a thumbs up. The DL10R with the extra lumen and battery protection is my choice. These are decent, simple, handheld lights for clear water divers on a strict budget, especially if you want a little extra lumen. At these prices, check them out. Well, let me know what you think. I'm always happy to hear feedback. Anyway, my friends, stay safe in your dive adventures, and remember, go explore, get wet,